Today I'm going to share on the topic of motivating ourselves for the future version of ourselves. So first of all, I'm going to share what is surviving abuse. Signs, like for adult survivors of child abuse. So first of all, feelings can be triggered by circumstances that are sometimes reminiscent of the abuse and have particular importance to the individual. And anxiety is the result of not knowing or unable to act in social or family situations. The fear and anger are natural responses to threats and assault, and rage is a built-up reservoir of anger that could never be safely expressed in the family. Sadness from recognizing the parents could abuse us. Frustration could abuse me or whoever identifies. Frustration is when it seems like nothing goes our way, or confusion as a sign that something happened and we don't know why it did or what we could do about it. And alienation from others is the result of too many disappointments. Helplessness, hopelessness, powerlessness are the feelings that tell us we're resigned to have a life that stays the way it is and we give up on it getting better. So these feelings are energy in motion. They're messengers, messages. And even if it's frightening, troubling, or saddening, there's mechanisms that we have that numb these strong feelings, like work or drugs, drinking, compulsive eating, and don't allow one to learn to overcome, integrate, process them, all of it. But when we learn to regulate the feelings' intensity, we notice it's a very important part of recovery. And that can include naming the feelings, trying to identify what triggers them. And obviously there's a practice of not having shame over the feelings. And a friend of mine has a deck of cards, and I'm not saying anyone should consult with the tarot, but there was a time where she did it for me at the time. And I wanted to share a little bit about what the answers I got from her. And obviously it's a deck that just sort of like, it's like picking at random with the right intention from a bunch of images with words on them. That's the idea. So what I got was that I have to allow for quiet reflection in order to let my inner voice be heard. And that the more I listen to that voice, the louder it becomes and the more my intuition grows. And that I have reached a point of aligning with my soul purpose, and the path requires me to be able to know and trust my intuition, that it's here to guide me on a path to the higher versions of myself, future me. And that if I look inward, all the answers will be revealed. So you can see this shift. The reason I'm bringing this together is not to tell anyone to use tarot or to join the organization asca, but to say we move from these feelings that of everything outside, and then we start to listen to the inside. We start to be with ourselves. And that's about like a confirmation that we're on the right path, that it's our soul's purpose, not looking for outside validation, but basing our decisions on this inward gaze and moving toward what nourishes our soul. We have to be still or we won't be able to hear the universe talking to us. And this indicates a new level of awareness with heightened senses, greater attunement to the messages of the universe. Versus in the past, perhaps we were so overstimulated with difficult emotions and messages, we couldn't go inward. So this is how we bring the spiritual breakthroughs, and we can enter new levels of understanding and enlightenment. And it's like, you might say like, amen. The word amen, people say it sounds like omen, like it's a sign. But we say amen to the blessings in Judaism. And it's about pursuing, new creative, healing, intuitive work. And really that intuition is going to be the biggest guide, and continue to develop self-trust along the way. This is a hint, obviously, that inspired or in spiritual, healing, creative, intuitive work, there's a sense of leadership. We have to acknowledge we have to acknowledge the important steps toward the potential and get clear. We have to get clear about our definite desires, definitive, what we're seeking, who, what, in relationship, in love, yes, and living with our soul purpose. And during transition, there's challenge, but even with career, the misaligned points to not listen is from when we're not listening to the mind, body, and heart, and resisting the necessary changes in all areas. And now in finding simplicity, I had a talk with a friend at the time. She, I wouldn't call her actually my friend. I think she just was being a friend to others for a time, and then she no longer was able to be a friend to others, and she became a friend herself, or a friend, she became alone in a relationship with a man without really much of an outside world. So she was following some of this to go inward. And she says that there, in her experiences, and I was sharing my experiences, and we were talking together. This is some years ago, about 5 years ago, or less. And we came up with like 6 pieces of this, and it's about finding simplicity. And we were focusing on relationships and intimacy. And like I said, she was really doing the work because she ended up going into herself and then choosing a life that reflected these kind of values of surviving abuse, from all this strong emotion, low vibration emotion. And as we heal, then coming up with this more lightweight energy that is, intuitive, creative, and flowing. It's like moving into the God life, the Godself, the priestess energy. So it's first we choose with a conscious voice. It could be for a soulmate. I don't need to suffer anymore. I don't want to suffer anymore. And the ego mind, which will always find lack, will always want more. It's worth exploring it, because otherwise we recycle it into the next relationship. So a love relationship partner is a chance to love, a relationship partner, really any relationship partner, is a chance to love someone as much as possible and to write positive aspects and gratitude for them, our favorite parts. And then the misaligned parts we can use to grow within. And either the person comes with or they don't. So we don't need to figure out overnight, and we don't need to attach to each flying disc of emotion. It's energy in motion. And either I'm having a good time with them or I'm not. And, number 3, what we want is real and valid. We have to reveal it incrementally as we become more of a vessel for it. It becomes revealed incrementally too. And clarity takes time. I mean, it's like, she said like, duh, but yeah. And then number 4, trauma bond is not a soulmate. It actually stunts growth because the triggering shows desperation and unworthiness beliefs, and getting a fix off someone is inherently unsustainable. And not walking together is all these manipulations, tactics, mental gymnastics. And the red flags for us is feeling our heart or our mind is invaded, not feeling a supportive love and light, feeling forced, and not getting space. So sometimes growth is completely solitary, like giving birth in a dark forest with no one around. And finally, number 6, partnership requires understanding, protection, complementary roles, not taking the provided things for granted, respect, and values that are harmonious. And I will stop here and wish you a blessed day. Be well.